Leave the king the alone. I don't care, bro. I'm gonna post my wife as much as I want. Go post your wife on your Instagram. And I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue.
What happens when the student not only surpasses the teacher, but takes pleasure in torching his legacy? That is exactly what we are watching unfold as Ye locks his sights on Jay-Z, the man who once opened doors for him, the man he once called Big Brother. But those days are long gone, and now Ye has decided that the best way to cement his own chaotic myth is by humiliating Jay-Z where it hurts most: his family, his reputation, and his long-guarded secrets. Jay-Z's courtroom stumble over the paternity claims swirling around his alleged illegitimate son was already enough to rattle the image of the untouchable Mo. But Ye didn't just let the gossip circulate in whispers. He grabbed it, twisted it, and hurled it back into the public like a grenade. He didn't just air dirty laundry. He drenched it in gasoline and set it ablaze for the world to see.
I ain't never been back to the hospital since 2015. But every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth.
In post after post, Ye weaponized Jay-Z's pain, painting him as a hypocrite who preaches loyalty and family values while quietly battling lawsuits from people claiming to be his children. Thereby, West's words weren't careful jabs, they were slashes, calling Jay-Z a fraud and reminding everyone that behind the polished Roc Nation empire is a man accused of abandoning blood. And here's the twist that makes it even darker. Whispers have been swirling for years that Ye has been keeping a secret vault of information on Jay-Z. Industry insiders insist Ye has files, receipts, texts, documents detailing not just messy personal affairs, but also business dealings that would stain Jay-Z's legacy. Was this latest attack a spontaneous outburst, or was he springing a trap he's been laying for a decade? That's the question gnawing at everyone watching this circus.
Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever.
Because if Ye has more ammunition, Jay-Z could be staring down the barrel of something bigger than internet slander. The rumor mill is already churning out tales of private settlements, late-night calls, and secret offers. According to insiders, Jay-Z tried the one strategy he never admits to: paying a man off. The whispers are deafening that Jay-Z, the king of calm, the man who always plays chess while others play checkers, offered Ye a quiet deal to shut his mouth. But Ye, true to form, didn't just turn down the offer. He threw gasoline on the flames and turned up the volume. Imagine being Jay-Z, the billionaire who has outmaneuvered rivals, politicians, even prosecutors, suddenly finding himself out-trolled by Ye, a man who proudly declares that nothing and no one can control him.
You know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now, right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids that her friends at school, they're going to know about it. They're going to see it. And it's just, it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
We can't forget this feud didn't come out of nowhere. The cracks have been there for years. He never forgave Jay-Z and Beyonce for skipping his wedding to Kim Kardashian back in 2014. A snub that to Ye was as personal as a dagger to the chest. Add to that the fact that Jay-Z chose Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl halftime show instead of him. And suddenly every little slight snowballed into resentment. When Ye spiraled online this year, dragging not just Jay-Z, but even his children, Sir and Rumi, into his tirades, it shocked even his harshest critics. He posted, deleted, then reposted insults questioning the twins in ways so grotesque that even Kim Kardashian, who has tolerated years of his antics, finally said enough. Kim was reportedly appalled, her patience broken, and behind the scenes she began re-evaluating their custody agreement. Wes's rage at Jay-Z has started spilling over into his own family's legal battles like a domino effect of self-destruction.
They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, you, man.
But they can't control me.
No,
You see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
And yet, he claims it's not just personal beef. In one deleted tweet, he admitted he took the posts about Jay-Z's children down, not because he regretted them, but because he feared losing his account. That's how brazen this has become. The man knows his words are vile, but he only retracts them when they threaten his platform. Ye insists that when he needed Jay-Z's support during his marital collapse, during his fight to keep control of his 4 children, Jay stood back and let the Kardashian empire steamroll him. They could have used their cultural position to not just watch the Kardashians run me over, he complained. It's bitterness, it's betrayal, and it's a man who clearly believes his one-time mentor turned his back when the stakes were highest. This is where it gets more twisted. Ye has been tying his latest outbursts to new music drops, like his visual album Bully, which he released in 3 versions online while railing against Jay-Z. He even cast his son Saint in the project, wielding a mallet and a ring as if to symbolically strike back at everyone he sees as enemies. His performance art mixed with personal vendetta, and Ye himself admitted the album's title came from Saint telling him another child was weak. The spectacle is unmistakable, Ye using his own family as actors in his war against the Carters, aligning music promotion with personal humiliation campaigns. Jay-Z, meanwhile, stays mostly silent because silence has always been his shield. But the silence only feeds the perception that Ye is winning the narrative battle. For years, people said Ye wanted nothing more than validation from Jay-Z to be acknowledged as an equal. He even wrote Big Brother as a love letter, but somewhere between Paris 2016, when he blasted Jay for not visiting after Kim's robbery, and now that yearning turned into venom. We see it every time he drags Beyoncé into his rants, questioning her loyalty, framing her as complicit. We see it when he lashes out at their children, then quickly insists he still loves Jay. It's the pendulum swing of obsession and resentment, the kind of twisted sibling rivalry that makes headlines because it feels both personal and performative. What makes it dangerous for Jay-Z is timing. He's not just battling West's public humiliation. He's also fighting a relentless legal campaign from Rami Sidithwaite, the man who claims he's Jay-Z's secret son. That battle has dragged through courts for years, dismissed and refiled. But now it's resurfacing with renewed force just as Jay-Z's name is being linked fairly or unfairly to the scandals engulfing Sean Diddy. For Ye, this is a perfect storm. His rival weakened by lawsuits, old accusations resurfacing, and gossip about illegitimate children splashed across headlines. If Ye really has the secret files he brags about, he could time their release to coincide with Jay-Z's most vulnerable moment.
No felonies, I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
And there's more. Industry chatter says he knows exactly how to twist the knife by hinting at other hidden children by suggesting Jay-Z has been paying for homes and hush money to keep them quiet. Whether true or not, the narrative sticks because Jay-Z refuses to take the DNA test that would end the speculation. In tabloid court, silence is guilt, and Ye is exploiting that silence like a megaphone. When people whisper that Jay-Z even tried to cut a private deal with Ye to silence him, it suggests just how deep this feud runs. Jay-Z doesn't bend easily, but if he really tried to pay Ye off, it means even the most powerful man in hip-hop knows how dangerous a wise tongue can be. But Ye isn't just taking aim at Jay-Z, his spirals have roped in Kim Kardashian, his own children, even Diddy. He thrives on chaos, insists celebrities are controlled, and calls himself the only one who can't be tamed. When he names Jay-Z and Beyoncé as puppets of mysterious forces, it's not just paranoia, it's a strategy. He's recasting them as the establishment villains while he plays the outlaw truth-teller. It's messy, it's offensive, it's reckless, but it works. People are watching. Every rant becomes headline news. Every deleted post becomes a screenshot. Every cruel jab at Jay-Z's family becomes fuel for the fire.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce.
And so we're left staring at this bizarre spectacle. Jay-Z, the consummate strategist, stuck in a feud where silence equals weakness. While Ye, the perpetual agitator, grows louder, angrier, more erratic by the day. The question is no longer whether Ye will stop. It's how far he's willing to go and what secrets he might be sitting on, waiting for the perfect moment to drop. West's fixation on humiliating Jay-Z, does it just look like ego? It looks like a vendetta years in the making, born from the ache of feeling abandoned by the very people he once called family. When Kim Kardashian's world collided with his, when the pressure of public breakdowns and custody battles consumed him, he expected Jay-Z and Beyonce to step in. He wanted the Carters' influence, their power, their cultural weight to shield him. Instead, he says they turned their backs. In his own words, they could have used their cultural position to not just watch the Kardashians run me over. For a man who once saw Jay-Z as a brother, this silence was a betrayal more cutting than any insult hurled online. Was this the wound that never healed? The reason he now drags their family name through the mud at every chance he gets? West's sense of being the outsider has followed him since the earliest days of his career. Even when he was producing hits for Rockefeller, insiders whispered that he wasn't from the streets like the others, that he was too artistic, too unconventional to belong in the tight-knit circle that Jay-Z commanded. For someone who longed for brotherhood, that subtle exclusion planted seeds of resentment. The more he was reminded of his difference, the more determined he became to prove himself indispensable. This black sheep identity didn't just shape his art, it shaped his hunger to dominate. To show the world that the one they underestimated could eclipse even the mentor who dismissed him. As West's fame grew, the divide only widened. Jay-Z and Beyonce cured an image of grace, wealth, and controlled elegance. While he spiraled in public, raw, and unpredictable, the contrast turned into a chasm. Where the Carters closed ranks, he flailed in the open, desperate for the same sense of loyalty and protection they reserved for each other. The more polished they appeared, the more isolated he felt. That isolation hardened into anger. And that anger began to spill into the very relationships he once cherished.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Moments that might seem trivial to outsiders became symbols of abandonment to him. The Carters' absence from his wedding wasn't just a scheduling decision. It was in his eyes the ultimate proof that he was never truly part of their family. Every event they skipped, every opportunity they withheld, every silence during his crisis became another cut. Over time, those cuts accumulated into scars, and the scars became the lens through which he saw the world. In that lens, every action Jay-Z took was filtered as betrayal. This perspective explains why West's humiliations of Jay-Z feel so personal. They're not merely attacks for entertainment or clout. They are attempts to claw back a sense of power in a relationship where he always felt lesser. If Jay-Z wouldn't embrace him as a brother, he would force acknowledgement as an adversary. The insults, the threats, even the dragging of Jay-Z's family into the fire are all twisted ways of demanding recognition. By tearing down the image of perfection, he forces the world to look at him, even if it's through the smoke of scandal.
You think about if Harley was part of intelligence, right? What kind of people you think are surrounding my kids? What kind of people you think are in that house?
And yet beneath the chaos, there is an undercurrent of longing. West's obsession with exposing Jay-Z is tangled with his unresolved desire to belong, to be validated by the man whose approval once meant everything. In humiliating Jay-Z, he seems to be asking the question he cannot say aloud. Why was I never enough for you? This duality, villain and victim, attacker and abandoned, adds a painful complexity to their feud, making it less about gossip and more about the tragic unraveling of a brotherhood that never truly was. Because when we look closer, it's not just hostility, it's heartbreak. He has said he always felt like the black sheep in the industry, craving a family that music itself denied him. He thought he found it in Jay-Z and Beyonce. And then when his life spiraled, that family was nowhere to be seen. The fury we see now, the insults, the all-caps tirades, even the grotesque targeting of Jay-Z's young twins, feels like the rage of a man punishing those he once begged for love. What is humiliation if not the revenge of someone who felt humiliated first?
There are people who did short sales on their stocks right after that, made a lot of money, including Sean Carter. Now I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident?
After they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
Really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over.